Hello, everybody. Welcome to Deborah's Journey. If you are new, thank you so much for joining me today. All of my new friends, my new subbies. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I always appreciate everybody stopping by to watch my content. And I just appreciate, even if you don't leave a comment, thank you so much. I see you and I appreciate you. So today I am going to be going over my budget. Now, it is a little late. I've been quite busy since the beginning of the year. So I'm going to try to do two things. I'm going to do my budget recap for December and my January budget in one video. So I'm hoping I can get through all of this as quickly as possible. But I think from here on out, I'm going to be combining my budget video. So I'll do my recap and I'll also do my monthly budget at the same time. I think that way it'll save me a little time. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into my budget for December. So for housing, I did budget 1710. However, I ended up spending $1,745.20. For my home insurance, it was right on target. It was 140. Car insurance was $102.83. So I was a little bit under what I budgeted. Spectrum, which is my internet, $84.99 is what I paid. Life insurance, $47.55. AT&T TV was $69.99. I did get a notice that this is going up for February, I believe. So I need to probably pay attention to what that new amount is because I may have to call them and negotiate this price down. And then for my son's sale, $55. And then for mine, $30.52. So total fixed expenses were $2,276.08. So for groceries, I budgeted 500, but I spent $426.09. So yay, I was under budget. For my personal, $100. Gasoline, I was way under. I budgeted $325. I spent $230.13, mainly because I wasn't driving to work for 2 weeks. I was actually off. So that did make a difference. For grooming, I spent $80. For birthdays, for Sam's Club membership, I set aside 50, but it was actually 53. And then for birthdays, I budgeted 200. I spent 200. Christmas spending, now I budgeted 525. And so that was way under what I should have budgeted for myself. However, that's what I budgeted for the year. And I think it's because I didn't spend over the last couple of years as much, mainly because everybody was working from home. We weren't doing a lot of the individual gifts. So I spent $765 for Christmas spending. So it tells me that this year, Christmas, I need to make sure I probably need to have an $800 budget. So I will be adjusting that. Urgency funds, I budgeted 100. I spent 115 for that. That just goes back to my savings or to my other debt payments. And then for the buffer, I budgeted 350. I actually spent $386.31. So I went over on that. I don't think it was too much. It was just maybe what, 20 or $30. So it wasn't too bad. Spa services, budgeted 250, came in at 260. And so it was right on point. And so a few dollars over. So I budgeted $2,480 for variable expenses. I actually spent $2,615.53. So I was $135 over what I budgeted. And you know what? That's not too bad considering it was Christmas time, it was December, the holidays, and there's always a lot more spending happening. So I feel pretty good about that number. Moving on to debt, I budgeted $200 for my Discover. I actually paid out $210 for my payment. Sam's Club $200. I sent a payment of $315 in for my car payment, budgeted $550, and I actually spent $550. And just so you know, my car payment is not $550. I always put a little extra on all of my debt because my goal is to try to pay it off sooner than later. For my student loan, I budgeted $900, and I actually made a payment of $955.49. And then my personal loan was $302, and my actual amount was $302.37. So a total of $2,332.86 was spent towards debt. So that was $180.86 more than what I had budgeted. And most of that increase was my Sam's Club. And I think because Sam's Club, I did use the card a little more for some of my holiday purchases. So I went ahead and made more of a payment towards that credit card. Okay, so moving on to investments. Vanguard, I budgeted 25. I actually put 25 in there. SoFi, budgeted 25, actually spent 25. Fidelity, same thing, $25. M1 Finance, 75, and my mutual Roth, 150. So everything was perfect for the month. I spent 300 on those investment accounts, and that was what I budgeted. Okay, for my savings, I budgeted 350. However, I only saved 245 in my savings accounts. My savings challenges, I budgeted 150, and I actually spent 125 for those. And then for my envelope challenge, I budgeted 50, but I actually put 80 in there. So I budgeted 550, but I actually put 450 towards savings. So that's $100 difference. So it was the holidays. I knew that I was going to have a little less money because I wanted to use most of my money to cover holiday expenses. And so that is what I did. And then for sinking funds or my lifesaver funds, I budgeted 300, but I actually put $380 towards my sinking funds. So that's a win because I was $80 over what I budgeted. So my total budget was $8,025.05, and I actually spent $8,354.47. So my December was not too bad. I was a little over budget in some categories, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a huge amount where it was going to have me concerned that I wasn't going to be able to cover those costs. So that was my December. So now January, and before I start talking about January, I just wanted to share with everybody who is new to my channel. My budget consists of money that is part of my payroll, any extra money I receive, and also any sinking funds that I pull money from. I put it into my budget for that month if I'm going to be spending money. So the only items that are not included on this budget are my giving, my tithes, my insurance premiums, my 401k, and some of my insurance, life insurance that I already have deducted from my paycheck. So those items are not included in this budget. Although I don't share my income, I do tell you what my budget is for the month, and I share what my spending is like. So for housing for January, I'm expected to spend $1,780. For car insurance, $105. Spectrum Internet, $85. Life insurance, $47.55. AT&T TV, $70. Cell phone for my son, $55. And for myself, $30.52. So a total fixed expenses, $2,173.05. So not much changed for the new year. It's sort of the same expenses. I'm using the same service providers. So again, that's what I'm expecting to spend. Moving on to variable. For groceries, I am budgeting $480. I am going to be budgeting a little higher for my groceries because I am trying to eat healthier for this month, and I'm hoping that I'll keep up the momentum and I'll be able to do it longer than a month. But for now, I've committed to 1 month for the healthy eating. And healthier food is more money. So we'll leave it at $480. For my personal, $100, which is my pocket change. Gasoline, I'm budgeting $300. For miscellaneous gaming, that is a automatic charge that comes out on one of my credit cards at $8 for my son, but he does pay me back for it. Medical expenses are $22. That's for a medical procedure and also for a prescription. Birthday, I have one birthday, maybe two, but for now I have one, so I'm going to budget 100. Urgency funds, I'm budgeting 100. The buffer is always 350. I'm not going to increase or decrease that. And really, my buffer is for all those categories that I haven't mentioned here. I don't put line items for every single expense because that would just be too time consuming. But what I do is I have a happy planner, and every week I track all of my spending. So therefore, when I come back and do my budget, I can share exactly how much I spent in each category. But my buffer is just to spend on whatever I'd like or for whatever is going on that month for the household. So that's where the money will come from, out of my buffer. And then in December, I had a rock hit my windshield, and I have a nice little crack. It's pretty small, so I'm hoping I don't need a whole new windshield, and I can just get the crack repaired. So I'm going to set aside 100 for that, and I do need to get that taken care of as soon as possible. So my variable expenses will be expected $1,560. Moving on to debt, I am going to set aside 200 for Discover, 200 for my Sam's Club, my car payment, $550. I'm setting aside 900 for my student loan, and my personal loan, $302.30. So a total of $2,152.30 is allocated for my budgeted for my debt payments. For investments, I am going to be setting aside 25 for Vanguard, 25 for SoFi, 25 for Fidelity, M175, my mutual Roth IRA, 150. So a total of $300 will be going into my investments. My savings, I'm going to set aside 300 for my savings. For my savings challenges, 200 this time. And then my envelope challenge, $50. So a total of $550 will be allocated for savings. And then for my sinking funds, my Lifesaver Fund, I am going to allocate $400 to cover all of those funds for the month. So my total budget that I am estimating to pay for January is $7,135.35. So that is my January budget. And like I said, when I do my recap for January, I'll also share my February budget. And I just wanted to share with everybody that at the end of December, I reached another milestone with my subscriber number. So I have 300 subscribers. So I'm so happy, and I appreciate everybody, those of you who watch my content. Those of you who are still on the fence, not sure if you want to subscribe, what are you waiting on? Go ahead. It doesn't cost a thing. But for those who are watching and following me and commenting and encouraging me, it really helps me have a desire to continue to do this. And I appreciate all the support and all the love. Well, Happy New Year to everybody. I will be sharing my giveaway for 300 subscribers at the end of January. So when the month is at the end of the month or very close, I will share what that giveaway is involved, what's involved with it. But I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope your January is going well. I hope your goals are going well, and that you are taking it one day at a time and doing the best you can. This is a new year, a new start. Do not look back at last year and worry about failures or things you didn't do. Focus on today. I will see you all next time. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.